Hidden in a sleepy rural Norfolk village around 15 miles to the east of King's Lynn is one of the finest examples of a Norman Motte and Bailey castle in the country, towering over the village of Acre, with its immense earthworks and structures. Acre is a near to complete example of what we know as a Motte and Bailey castle, as complete as 1,000 years of dilapidation will allow us to have anyway. It is said to be one of the finest of its kind in England. What is also surprisingly complete is the Norman layout of the small village it belongs to, including one of the best preserved monastic sites in England, Acre Priory. As for the place name, castle may be a little obvious, but acre can be dated back to Old Norse, meaning cultivated or arable land. So Acre is a castle close to cultivated land. More on this in a second. In around 1070, not long after the Battle of Hastings, William de Warenne, a close ally of William the Conqueror, took control of an already established settlement that we now know as Acre. He already held significant land nearby and decided that he should fortify a site to maintain control in the region. By 1085, the castle reached its first stage of completion, in a typical Motte and Bailey style. It was in fact the Normans that introduced the design to England following the invasion. The castle consists of 3 fortified earthwork enclosures. These were surrounded by ditches and high embankments, topped originally with a wooden palisade that was later replaced by a stone wall. A triangular fortified entrance, known as a barbican, lays the eastern side, protecting the exposed entrance. An outer bailey to the south, which also contains what is believed to be the Great Hall, kitchens and a chapel. Later, this may have replaced the keep on the inner bailey to the north as more habitable living space, possibly in the 13th or 14th century. In 1138, William's grandson, spoiler also called William, would inherit the castle during a brutal civil war known as the Anarchy. It saw a fight for the English throne between Empress Matilda and her cousin Stephen of Blois. This would see the ramparts enlarged and topped with a stone wall, and the 2-storey house atop the inner bailey converted into an independently defensible great tower or keep. Although not certain, he was also believed to have surrounded the town with earth banks and ditches, as shown on this 1734 map. William, like his forebearers, was involved with the military, losing his life on a crusade in 1148. The castle was passed on to his daughter Isabel, whose second husband, Hamilton Plantagenet, and half-brother of Henry II, is believed to have fortified the town further, including building 2 large gatehouses with guard chambers, one that remains intact in the centre of town, with an obvious channel for a portcullis and cutouts for a drawbar that would once have secured the large timber doors. The second gatehouse is on the western side of the castle, but is in a much more ruinous state. Hamlin's son and grandson were also prominent military and political figures and would host both Henry III and Edward I at Acre, further pointing to not only the families but the castle's status. Their descendants would hold the castle until 1558, and it would exchange hands several times, but eventually in 1615 and for a final time to the Coke family, who retain ownership to this day. A survey in 1397 indicated that not only was the site disused, but that it had fallen into a ruinous state. Despite this, he would order its restoration, including the completion of 11 battlements. Sadly, yet again, this would not last, and this 18th century engraving shows how the site was ruthlessly robbed for building materials for a, by then, much obsolete structure. It was passed into state guardianship because of its significance in 1971. And now it is maintained by English Heritage and open to the public.